Thanks for taking a time out with CBS 11 Sports. I'm Andy Adler here with George Teague. And George, I'm going to make you eat the cheese today. That is what I'm going to make you do. Because all week long, the week before and last week, we were hearing the Cowboys say, don't eat the cheese. In other words, don't get too comfortable. Go out there, kill it the way you would any other team. So I'm going to have you eat the cheese and tell me how sick are you hearing the same thing about not eating the cheese, and then they go and eat the cheese.
Yeah, I was disappointed because of the way that they played this game, or maybe with the outcome of the game. You know, I really felt like we had a good chance of winning the game, and we did talk about it on Cowboys game day, that it was going to be a close game.
Right.
And it was. But man, there's a few more things I think that we got to do to get better.
Tell me.
I think, obviously, we can't keep having the turnovers, the interceptions. We got to figure that part out. I did a pretty good deep dive on what that should look like, or what was happening to this, and it might be a little bit different in this past game. But man, Dak is unlucky. He's unlucky.
Is it unlucky, or is he just not doing his job? I mean, is it something is it a technical issue? There's a lot of blame to go around, but I don't know if luck is the thing that you can blame here.
Well, the reason why I would say he was unlucky is because he, on that last one, no, maybe he shouldn't have thrown the ball, should have just taken the sack, go on, live another day. But he decided to go ahead and take it, and it hit the guy in the chest. He should have caught the ball. It bounced up, and it goes, and then run it back for a touchdown, and all this kind of stuff. That's unlucky.
It is unlucky. I mean, Noah Brown was sort of talking a little bit about that today and just saying, you know, he takes full responsibility. And I think that everyone, you know, to their credit, everyone on the Cowboys right now is taking full responsibility for what we saw this past Sunday against the Jags. And there is a lot of blame to go around. And we said on Sunday in the morning that it would be a close game, but you know, I know that when I said it was going to be a close game, I was thinking it'd be a close game and the Cowboys come out on top. So, you know, what do what do the Cowboys do in order to make sure this doesn't happen in the playoffs?
I think what they have to do is really fine-tune. Listen, there are too many things that we're giving up. That we're still giving up the run, right? ETN was running all up and down the field on us. They were hitting some big runs there. We got to make sure we're taking care of our bodies. So I know Jerry has talked about maybe resting some guys, letting our bodies heal up, because now you're not really going to move positions probably as far as out of fifth place. And then we got to pray. we gotta
You know, I get it. And like, you make an interesting point, and you mentioned Jerry saying possibly resting the guys. So I think that's interesting in that, okay, three games remaining in the regular season. Cowboys have made the playoffs. Now, the only way that they can secure home field advantage is if they win those 3 games and the Eagles lose those 3 games. So at this point, you're shaking your head. You just rest the guys. You're like, all right, Cooper, let's go and let's see what you can do again. Like, let's just bring in second string players. Is that what you're thinking?
No, I don't think that, but I think you put on a snap count. You still have to have continuity. You don't want to get out of shape. Being physically prepared for a football game is very hard to do. And when you take off a week, it's like going to weight room. You take off 2 or 3 days, you're sore, you're hurt. So you just can't say, all right, you take three weeks off. That's not the case. I think that you do still have to play, but maybe with the technology they have those things in the shoulder pads, you know, where they can tell how much they're running, how much contacts they're having. Monitor that and maybe pull them out.
You know, it's an interesting perspective from a player's perspective, because I'm looking, all right, so if I'm coach, I'm thinking, all I want to do is keep my players healthy, and I want to rectify the issues that we've seen specifically in the last 2 games. And in order to keep your players healthy, I'm hesitant to even see a Micah Parsons play in that final game against the Commanders. But you make a good point. You got to keep your players ready to go for when it counts most.
You can't do a math problem without actually practicing and knowing how to add the formulas and things of that nature, or you forget it. It's the same way with playing. You got to be able to run, you got to be able to catch, you got to be able to backpedal, break, anything, any scenario you can think of, so you keep your normal routine with playing the football game.
Our producer, Dandy, and I were talking about it. We're like, all right, so what is the identity of this team? Because for so long, it was about resilience. It was about, reaching the potential of the team against teams that were perhaps better without Dak Prescott. So they were playing up. Now I feel like they are playing down. So what is their identity at this point?
The identity of our football team, can I say our too, right?
You can say our. I can say, yeah, can I say our?
I think so.
You could say it.
The identity of the Dallas Cowboys is to be able to run the football and be physical and take the shots when we have to. I think we kind of lose some of that. There's a lot of mouths to feed. You want to get Zeke his touches, Pollard his touches, and then you got to worry about everybody else. Because even when you add other people, right? And there's just not enough footballs to go around. So we need to run the football. Still up for debate, right? Whether do you run the football on that third down play when they threw it on the long pass,
do you?
Or not?
What do? You
run the football, and you make them burn the timeout, and the game is probably a little bit different, in my opinion.
I happen to agree with you. Absolutely.
So okay, yeah, you want to be aggressive and you want to try to win the game, and you say, hey, we're not going to hold back and sit back. In that case, I don't feel like you needed to do that. I think you run the ball. If you don't make it, you punt it. They call timeout, and you punt the ball, and then you force them into trying to win the football game that way.
Well, we, or the Cowboys, have a game against the Eagles coming up on Saturday, Christmas Eve. So I want to get your thoughts on that. But first, a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're talking a little Cowboys and we're talking a little Eagles. Jalen Hurts, now we're shooting this is Tuesday. At this point, Jalen did not practice today. He's dealing with a sprained shoulder injury. At this point, the Eagles, they're saying things like he could still play on Saturday. A sprained shoulder. This is his throwing shoulder. I don't see this happening. I can't imagine he plays against the Cowboys on Saturday.
No, they can't afford to play him. I don't think, if he does have something like that in his shoulder. But I can say maybe I'm a little bit biased because they beat us without our quarterback, so maybe we can beat them without their quarterback. Whatever.
I hope so. I should hope that the Cowboys can beat the Eagles without Jalen Hurts. I mean, I feel like that should be a no-brainer, right?
It should be.
Should be.
Should be. But we should have played better against the Houston Texans. We should have played a little bit better against the Jaguars. But, in this, and that's why when we were talking about the first segment of being prepared and having your guys ready, it makes it different, though, because Jalen Hurts brings a whole different dynamic to it. A running quarterback, RPOs with all the design runs that he has. Think about when we played Chicago and had Justin Fields and what that did to us. Yeah. It makes it hard. So, we might be in a better position to be able to win the football game against them. But if you have to see them later, maybe second round of playoffs or something, man, we better be ready to face a very good Eagles football team.
No doubt about it. And, we spoke a little bit about this before. I remember being in that locker room after the Eagles beat the Cowboys in Philly. And there wasn't a defeated locker room. It was a we'll see you Christmas Eve kind of locker room. So I've been looking forward to, they were circling this on their calendar. I was circling this on my calendar. What are your expectations? What do you think we're going to see on Saturday?
Well, if Jalen Hurts, it hurts me to say this.
Yeah, tell me.
But I hope that we smash them with or without them.
It does not hurt you to say that at all. That doesn't hurt you at all. I think you enjoy saying it, and I enjoy hearing it.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, it's still, I don't want to deal with them fans.
Yeah, right.
Even going to the game, but you know what? It's just, we need this one regardless of who's playing. It's just trying to get back on edge, get back in a groove. Later part of December, couple games left. You got to start thinking about and building toward the momentum you need going into a playoff run.
George, they need this as that phrase moral victory. I usually don't like it, but they need it right now because, 2 games, it's you get a little like losing begets more losing, right? Like you get a little too comfortable in that. And December's the time we get hot. That's what we were hearing throughout the season. December is winning time, and here we are. And it's not what the Cowboys expected. I know that the locker room right now is feeling that. So this is an important game from that perspective.
That's right. And I guess I'm going to pull a Micah Parsons version here.
Are you going to say something wild? Because I enjoy that very much.
No, I'm going to get a week ahead because you still got Derrick Henry coming the week after, right? And we can't. There's really no room for us to relax, for the Cowboys to relax, regardless if you want to rest guys or not. We need to have a good showing here. Miles Sanders. We got to figure out what to do with the corner opposite of Diggs. We still could get exposed there this week. They made transitions in the game, putting Deshaun right in at corner late after Kevin Joseph wasn't being as productive as he needed to be. I don't know if that's the answer. Maybe this is a chance for us to see it and just see who can play or what. But, I think that really concerns me the most. We're doing a lot of talk about OBJ.
Do you want the latest on OBJ now?
Yeah.
Are you looking for the latest on this?
Okay.
Because I'll tell you. Again, this is Tuesday. Anything can change. Last time we spoke, Sunday, we were talking about the fact that Jerry Jones was straight up saying, we're going to sign this guy.
We're going to get him.
We're going to sign this guy. And the fact that it wasn't signed, I said, well, hold up, like, why publicly say this? Because it's not signed yet, but you're saying it's going to happen. Well, today, Tuesday, it sounds like it's not going to happen. So from Jerry. And then every day that it gets closer to the playoffs, the less likely it's going to happen. So that's your update. Then the update is check in with us tomorrow because when you watch this, we may have him as
there was a show, it wasn't a soap opera.
What was it?
But it was called Dallas.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if you remember that. There was all kind of plots and twists and different things of that nature.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we have, where Jerry Jones is doing everything possible.
What character is Jerry in that, by the way? We're going to throw in Jerry. I've said before that this is the ultimate reality show and that Jerry is just like the producer who's like playing with right? It's like Jerry's World. That's what it's called.
So someone told me this, and I don't hold me this because I have not fact-checked it.
Okay.
But this came from someone else, where it was saying that with the World Cup, there were more people watch the Cowboys-Jaguars game than the final of the World Cup.
I can't. You mean in the States?
Look it up, Mr. Producer. No.
Wait, you mean like in the world?
Look it up. They said TV. I'm just telling you. Jerry Jones is doing amazing things to make sure we watch these games.
More people watch the Jags-Cowboy game.
At that point in time, on the eyes on the television screen. I don't know how we do it at the TV station, how you figure out who's doing what. But anyway, like I said, I don't have any.
Where Messi, that's interesting in the world. I don't think that's right, but I think that's interesting. And if it is right, you guys can write me in. I'm sure you will. No, I think that's fascinating. So let's look ahead here, big picture.
Okay.
How far the Cowboys go in the playoffs? Are we going to see them in February, playing in Arizona?
I think as long as we don't see the San Francisco 49ers in the first round, we'll get to the second round. I think we can beat someone in the first round. And then the second one, I'm a little bit worried about it because if we don't handle up on some of the other things like we were talking about, the interceptions, the turnovers, if we're not starting fast enough, the momentum swing. We haven't been able to get out of the swing when things go bad for us. We can't dig ourselves out of that until the last minute.
Literally the last minute against the Colts. I mean, literally 51 seconds, and you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, talk about coming from behind the 8 ball. You can't always do that, and they weren't able to do that in this last game against the Jags. So before we let you go, Merry Christmas, my friend. This will air, you know, we got a Saturday night game on Christmas Eve. What are you going to do for the holidays? What's the plan?
I plan on being here in the Metroplex with the grandkids and the kids. Merry Christmas to you as well, and all of our viewers and all the people that are watching this, because it is a grand time, and I just hope that on Christmas Day, we wake up, we're feeling a whole lot better about these Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, we're celebrating a nice Christmas miracle. It's not a miracle if they beat the Eagles without Hurts. I'll say that right now. They should beat the Eagles without Hurts. So
it'll be a great gift, though.
Absolutely.
It'll be a great gift.
Well, you are a gift, George Teague. We enjoy you having you on the show, and it's been a pleasure. So. Happy New Year if I don't see you beforehand. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to you. That right there. A quick little timeout with George Teague. We'll see you next time.